Walk into any garden center today, and you're met with a wall of vibrant neon plastic. Aisle after aisle of synthetic boosters, each promising a shortcut to paradise for a premium price. We've been conditioned to believe that abundance comes in a complex chemical bottle, a high-tech pharmacy for our soil that keeps us trapped in a never-ending cycle of buying and applying. But tucked away in the shadows of the homestead, often overlooked and misunderstood, are 4 unassuming white powders that look more like kitchen flour than high-performance miracle curers. They don't have flashy labels or television ad campaigns. Yet these boring minerals contain the ancient, foundational keys to unlocking the true potential of the earth beneath your feet. From a common construction material to a humble headache tablet, these are the secret alchemies that turn struggling, hard-packed gardens into lush and self-sustaining inland ecosystems. One of them is so powerful, it's been called a miracle drug for human health. But what it does for a tomato plant at the cellular level is nothing short of an agricultural revelation. How is it that the simplest substances on the planet can routinely outperform the most expensive science in a lab, while demanding a fraction of the cost from the humble gardener? Most gardeners view their soil as a static medium, a box that just needs more food. But the truth is far more complex and, frankly, a bit more frustrating than most of us realize. In many backyards, the soil isn't just hungry, it's literally gasping for air, trapped in what we call the pottery trap, the invisible prison of heavy, compacted, and airless clay soil. Imagine microscopic sheets of paper stacked so tightly after a spring rain that they become a solid, impenetrable wall where life-giving oxygen cannot travel and water cannot escape. When these tiny clay particles dry out in the summer heat, they bond together with the strength of stone, essentially turning your entire vegetable garden into a kiln-fired ceramic pot. We try to fix the structural failure by pouring on liquid fertilizers, but that only feeds the plant's symptoms while ignoring the structural disease of the soil itself at the root. It's like trying to jumpstart a car with a perfectly rebuilt engine, only to finally realize the battery is flat and the tires are stuck in deep, frozen, and unmoving winter mud. We find ourselves caught in a toxic dependency, fighting a losing battle against pests and disease with chemicals that kill the very biology meant to protect our precious crops. There's a deep feeling of helplessness when you watch a prized seedling wither and fade, despite following every instruction on a brightly colored chemical bottle from the store. But what if the barrier to your abundance isn't a lack of expensive chemicals, but a simple misunderstanding of soil physics, plant immunity, and the way life actually functions? Nature doesn't work through brute force. It works through delicate chemical magnets and microscopic architecture that we're only just beginning to grasp in our modern world. Take the way certain minerals interact with heavy clay. It's a process called flocculation, and it works like a grand, invisible magnet pulling the very earth into a new shape. When the right ions are introduced, those flat, suffocating plates of clay are forced to clump together, creating tiny granules the size of coarse sand that let the soil breathe. Suddenly, the ground opens up. Pores appear like miniature tunnels, allowing life-giving oxygen to reach the deepest roots of your heavy-feeding crops and the microbes beneath. This isn't poisoning the soil to change it. It's using the Earth's own electrical charge to restructure the world from the bottom up, creating a foundation for lasting fertility. Then there's a mechanical warfare of the garden, a defense system so sophisticated it doesn't require a single drop of toxic poison to keep your harvest safe from invaders. Imagine a powder that feels like silk to your touch but acts like 1,000 shimmering razor blades to a crawling pest, shredding their armor through the laws of physics alone. It turns the very surface of your plants into a fortress, utilizing silica to harden cell walls until they are virtually impenetrable to the invaders that seek to destroy them. Even more fascinating is the alarm bell principle, a way to talk to a plant's immune system and tell it that a storm has come before the first cloud appears on the horizon. By mimicking a plant's natural distress signals, we can trick it into a state of high alert, pumping its veins full of protective compounds long before a pest ever arrives. This is a shift from reacting to a crisis to activating a system, a transition from being a victim of the seasons to becoming a facilitator of the Earth's inherent genius. This understanding isn't a modern breakthrough. It's an echo of a wisdom that our ancestors carried in their bones and practiced with their hands for thousands of cycles. In the late 1700s, Benjamin Franklin used a hillside to prove a point, writing, "This has been plastered," in giant letters made of lush, vibrant green clover for all to see. He used the same dusty mineral that makes up modern drywall to show a skeptical public that the earth could be awakened by the simplest and most accessible of means. A century later, the battlefields of Europe were scavenged not for gold, but for phosphorus-rich bones to fuel the agricultural revolution of a rapidly growing and hungry world. Even 4,000 years ago, ancient Sumerian texts described the use of willow bark infusions to keep life in cuttings, long before we knew the scientific name of the acid within. Our forerunners knew that the forest floor and the fossilized sea held the secrets to longevity, even if they didn't have the high-powered microscopes to see the why. They didn't see the garden as a factory, but as a living legacy that required the right mineral keys to unlock the storehouses of ancestral abundance hidden deep below. To replicate this success today, we have to look at these four white alchemies not as separate products, but as a coordinated system of soil and plant health management. It begins with gypsum, or calcium sulfate, a naturally occurring mineral that acts as the ultimate structural engineer for the underground world we often take for granted. If you've ever seen your soil turn into a cracked, impenetrable crust after a summer rain, you've seen a garden in desperate need of a structural gypsum intervention. It doesn't just break the clay. It's a chemical scavenger that seeks out toxic salts and flushes them away, saving plants from the silent killer of mineral toxicity and buildup. Think of it as a breath of fresh air that a suffocating garden needs, turning heavy pottery into friable, crumbly earth that smells of the deep and fertile forest floor. While the gypsum handles the structure, bone meal serves as the slow-burning engine of growth, providing a steady and reliable pulse of phosphorus throughout the entire year. Unlike fast food fertilizers that wash away in the first rain, bone meal enters into a sacred partnership with soil microbes to release its energy only when the plant asks for it. It is the secret behind the explosion of spring bulbs and the heavy, drooping fruit of late summer, acting as a foundation for every flower and seed you hope to harvest. But structure and energy are nothing without defense, which brings us to the singular brilliance of Diatomaceous Earth, the deadly dust of the fossilized ancient oceans. Composed of the microscopic remains of aquatic organisms, it creates an invisible barrier that slugs and ants simply cannot cross without meeting a sharp and painful end. It is the ultimate organic guardian, safe enough to touch with your bare hands, yet terrifyingly effective against the soft-bodied pests that steal your harvest in the night. Then we reach the final catalyst, the miracle for the nightshades, a simple uncoated aspirin tablet dissolved in a gallon of water and applied with care to foliage. This isn't a medicine for a sick plant. It's a vaccination, a way to prime the immune system of tomatoes and peppers to fight off blight before the high humidity ever rises. By triggering what scientists call systemic acquired resistance, you are essentially giving your garden a set of biological armor that works from the inside out. When these four elements work in synergy, your garden ceases to be a list of chores and becomes a self-defending, high-output engine of nutrition and personal resilience. You're no longer betting against the weather or the bugs. You're providing the fundamental tools the earth needs to express its inherent genius through your careful stewardship. Every handful of white thus becomes a promise of a harvest that is not just larger, but more nutrient-dense and resilient than anything you could ever buy in a modern store. The transformation is visible, tangible, and deeply emotional. It's the feeling of finally being in sync with the ancient and powerful rhythms of the natural world. But understanding the mechanics of these powders is only the beginning of the journey into true garden mastery and a deeper connection to the land you call your own. Because once these principles move from theory into real life, the results become far more remarkable than most people ever expect at the start of their journey. You start to see it first in the way the morning dew sits on the surface of beds, no longer pooling on a hard, hydrophobic crust, but sinking instantly into the dark, receptive depths of the earth. Within weeks, the visual evidence of this chemical restructuring becomes undeniable as the cracked, pale surface of the garden begins to darken and soften into something that looks like rich velvet. Digging your fingers into soil is no longer a chore requiring a steel trowel. Instead, the one solid pottery crumbs apart with the slightest pressure, revealing a network of new, white roots. These roots are the primary beneficiaries of our mineral alchemy, finding a structural freedom they have never known before in a landscape once defined by the density of stone and the lack of air. The physiological response in the plants themselves is almost startling, particularly in the leaves of the peppers and tomatoes where the deep, waxy emerald green signals a state of peak vitality. We see the bone meal slow-release phosphorus manifesting in the sheer volume of blooms, A cascading explosion of white and gold flowers that seem to hold on longer, defying the early summer winds. There's a noticeable absence of the usual yellowed margins and stunted growth tips that plague the average backyard plot, replaced by a surge of biomass that feels balanced and inherently sturdy. Perhaps the most satisfying transformation is the silence of the pests, as the microscopic glass shards of the diatomaceous earth create a perimeter that leaves the foliage pristine and untouched. By the time the first fruits begin to set, the garden has moved from a state of survival to one of absolute surplus, where every plant is performing at the very edge of its genetic potential. This shift represents a fundamental lowering of the cost of abundance, not just in terms of money, but in the sweat and anxiety we usually expend trying to keep a failing system on life support. We have moved from the exhaustion of constant intervention to the quiet observation of a system that is now, for the first time, capable of managing its own health and structural integrity. Yet, as remarkable as these physical changes are, the most profound evolution occurs within the gardener, as we realize that our failure was never a lack of effort, but a lack of visibility. This realization hit home for me several seasons ago after I invested a significant amount of money in what I was told was premium organic mushroom compost from a high-end local supplier. I spent an entire weekend carefully amending my beds, believing I was giving my seedlings the ultimate head start, only to watch in horror as my prized tomatoes began to shrivel within 2 days. It was a heartbreaking sight. Hundreds of dollars and dozens of hours of work wilting into ground as the leaves turned a sickly purple, indicating a total shutdown of the plant systems. I had followed every organic rule in the book, yet I was witnessing a total collapse that left me feeling more like a failure than a steward of the land I so deeply cared for and loved. After several days of frantic research, I discovered that the compost was laced with high levels of residual salt, a common but silent byproduct of intensive commercial mushroom production. My garden was suffering from mineral toxicity, a condition that no amount of pure water or additional nitrogen could ever fix, leaving my soil essentially poisoned by a product I had trusted. In a last-ditch effort to save the season, I turned to the humble bag of gypsum sitting in the corner of my shed, that same white dust we often associate with nothing more than construction waste. I spread it liberally over the surface, praying that the calcium ions will perform the chemical miracle by knocking those toxic sodium molecules off the clay particles for good. Within 14 days, the transformation was nothing short of miraculous. The purple tint vanished from the leaves, and the seedlings began to push out aggressive, vibrant new growth. That experience taught me that the earth always has an antidote in its pantry, and that our greatest mistakes in the garden often stem from trusting a marketing label over a fundamental principle. It shifted my perspective from being consumer products to a practitioner of science, realizing that the most powerful tools are often the ones the modern world considers to be waste. This personal rescue mission was a small-scale reflection of a much larger reality that is becoming increasingly important for every household in our rapidly changing and unpredictable world. We live in an era of global supply chains that are as fragile as they are complex, where the fertilizers we depend on are often derived from volatile natural gas and distant mining operations. Relying on a system that requires a 1,000-mile journey for a bag of synthetic nitrogen is a precarious way to secure the food that will ultimately sustain our families and our neighbors. By turning toward these 4 alchemies, we are reclaiming a level of decentralization that provides a buffer against the rising tide of food inflation and the uncertainty of the global market. We are learning to turn the discarded remnants of the Anthropocene, the bone waste, the drywall scraps, the fossilized algae, into a form of personal wealth that can never be taxed or inflated. This is the true meaning of food security. It's the ability to grow a nutrient-dense harvest in marginalized soils or pest-prone areas where conventional models of agriculture fall apart. It is a quiet confidence of knowing that even if the shelves of the garden center go bare, your soil possesses the structural and mineral resilience to keep producing year after year. We aren't just building garden beds. We are building an independent ecosystem that functions as a safety net, anchored by the stone and bone that have survived for millions of seasons past. This adaptability is the hallmark of a resilient life, one that finds opportunity in the overlooked and strength in the simple, avoiding the traps of dependency and technological complexity. Embracing these principles invites us to step into a role that is far more significant than that of hobbyist. It is a role of a facilitator for a genius that predates our species. When we look at these white powders, We have to look past their humble appearance and see them for what they truly are, the mineral keys to an ancient storehouse of biological potential. This story was never really about the gypsum or the bone meal themselves, any more than a master craftsman's story is about the specific brand of hammer or chisel he holds in his hand. It is about the shift from the brute force of domination, where we try to bend nature to our will, to a philosophy of stewardship based on deep, patient, and quiet understanding. It is a realization that abundance is not something we create from nothing, but something we unlock by removing the barriers that prevent the earth from expressing its own inherent logic. We are learning to participate in a waste-to-wealth loop that honors the cycle of life and death, recognizing that the bones of the past are the literal building blocks of the life yet to come. This is the essence of regenerative living, not just sustaining what we have, but actively improving the land with every season, leaving the soil richer than the very day we first found it. It is a return to a form of intelligence that is grounded in the physical world, a type of wisdom that values long-term stability over the fleeting, hollow high of a fast-acting synthetic boost. As the sun begins to set over a garden that has been transformed by these simple alchemies, we can finally appreciate the full-circle journey from the pharmacy back to the foundational earth. Look closely at the result. A deep red tomato, heavy with juice and minerals, its skin shimmering with beads of rain as it catches the final golden light of a long and productive summer day. Beneath that fruit lies a soil that was once stone-hard clay but is now a living, breathing lung of dark humus, teeming with a microbial life that we have finally learned how to protect. The sound of a hand turning the soil is no longer the harsh scrape of steel on ceramic, but the soft, muffled rustle of moisture-rich earth that is ready to provide for another generation. The most profound miracles in this world don't always arrive with a flash of light or a high-tech label. Sometimes, they are buried in a dusty bag of white powder tucked away in a shed. They are found in the moment we choose to trust the wisdom of the bone, the stone, and the fossil over the empty promises of the plastic bottle and the marketing campaign at the store. True mastery of the land begins with a humble acceptance that everything we need has already been provided, resting quietly beneath our feet and waiting for us to finally understand its value. If this story changed the way you see the land around you, let us know in the comments below. And if you'd like to learn more practical ways to build resilience, subscribe to Perma to Plate.